Hi, everyone. Welcome to the webinar today. My name is Forrest Layton. I'm the Vice President of Marketing for MarcomCentral. We're very excited to have you. It looks like we have a good crowd, and we still have folks joining. But we're going to go ahead and kick off so we can keep our schedule and get you guys onto the rest of your days quickly here. So I'm going to give you a little bit about us and kind of why we're doing this and what we're about. And then obviously the idea is not to make this a commercial. Our whole idea is for to build some thought leadership and to really drive educational content. And I think the use case that Liberty Tax has is a really unique one. And the idea is to give you some thoughts that maybe you can take with you, and it can affect what you're working with on a daily basis. Of course, if it's something that you need, if you need our help with, we're certainly here to help you. We will be recording this session, so we will be sending this on afterwards. We're happy to share it with you as well. Okay, all that being said, so we are MarcomCentral. You can visit us at marcom.com. We've been running these webinars every month now, and we have a number of them coming up in the next several months, which are going to be really good as well. So please subscribe if you're not subscribed already at marcom.com for that. The company itself has been around since 1999. We've kind of weathered the storm as far as SaaS companies go, so we're real excited for the success that we've had. There's 76 employees, most of which are in Solana Beach, California. We have other offices in Chicago and also in Europe as well. And we have about over 400 customers serving over 1 million users. So, and I just want to talk a minute about some of the types of problems that we solve, and then I'll pass it on to Oliver from Liberty Tax, which will really give you a great sense of kind of the way they're utilizing the product, but more importantly, how they're solving their branding issues. So, like you'll hear from Oliver, one of the first and core things that we really help our clientele with is brand and regulatory compliance. And if you think about all of the different issues around brand and compliance that companies have, and whether that's controlling their brand, their rebranding, compliance is for the financial, healthcare, anyone that's in a regulated industry, we do a ton in that space as well. One of our clients is a large financial institution. That their biggest issue was how that they could control their brand, and also the corporate compliance pieces or regulatory compliance, because they were in the financial sector. They had field marketing people that were driving events all around the country, and those field marketing people would be coming back into corporate with tons of one-off requests every day or every week for those events, so building agendas, building the invitations, whatever it might have been, and even the content and collateral that would have been handed out at the event. When they did that, marketing was overrun with one-off requests, so they had real issues in dealing with all of it. So our system enabled them to kind of streamline all that, control the brand, all the compliance-related issues. Those all went away. The second one is local area marketing, and I think that's going to really ring true today in Oliver's presentation, because if you think about a franchise like a Liberty Tax, they're faced with those issues, and I'm going to let him talk about that one. We had one manufacturer that we were working with that their issue was how could they co-brand all the materials that they were sending out. They worked through 500 dealerships across the country. They're actually a garage door manufacturer. And every dealership would take their brochures, and the marketing director was on a call telling us, well, they take them and they put them in the closet, and there's dust settling on them, and they're not really utilizing them. And they weren't using them because they weren't able to co-brand them. They weren't able to put their information on them. They weren't able to make the content specific and relevant to their local needs. And that's the thing that we really help solve for them. So local area marketing is the second. And the third thing is about sales enablement. We're showing Salesforce and Marketo here at the bottom of the screen. We have integrations built into that, which really helps in making sure that we're a part of your technology stack. We're not the whole thing. And of course, we fit in for that right place. In this case, it could be salespeople that are out in the street. This could be real estate. It could be financial. It could be any of those folks that really need to have access to the relevant content. They're having good conversations with their customers or their prospects. They want to be able to create something relevant, specific to them, like a sales proposal, a brochure, whatever it might be, and they want to be able to send it directly to them via email, a digital channel, whatever that might be as well. So that's another one, is sales enablement. So those are really the big three. And so it just gives you just a broad sense of what we do, and that's really all I want to say as far as we go. I don't want to make this a commercial for us. The important part is we have Oliver DeMolanta here today. He's the brand imaging director for Liberty Tax. He's been with the company since 2002, and they've really done some incredible things as far as how they were able to control their brand across their many, many franchise locations. So with that, I'm going to give you Oliver. And Oliver, thanks for joining us today.
All right, great. Thanks for the introduction, Forrest. Glad everyone can join us today, and let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to go ahead and talk about a little bit of our company and how we use MarcomCentral for controlling our brand and the standards. So. Liberty Tax, we're one of the fastest growing tax preparation companies in the industry. We actually started in Canada. John Hewitt, who is our CEO, used to be the owner of Jackson Hewitt. He sold that in 1997. There was a one-year non-compete, and that's why he started in Canada. When the one-year non-compete was over, he went ahead and opened up the Liberty Tax headquarters in Virginia Beach, Virginia, and we're still here. So a little bit about John Hewitt. He's actually worked for the three main competitors. He was a regional director for H&R Block. Like I mentioned earlier, he founded Jackson Hewitt, which still bears his last name, and founded Liberty Tax in '97. So he has, I think, the most experience out of all of the people in the tax industry. So over 45 years of tax preparation experience. Currently, we have over 2,000 franchisees in the United States and Canada. We have over 4,000 offices in North America, and during our peak season, we probably have about 450 people working in our corporate office. So throughout these 19 years, we've actually grown to 3 brands. So first in '97 we had Liberty Tax Service. The following year we had Liberty Tax Service in Canada, and then we have Liberty Tax Service in the U.S. And 2 years ago, we came out with Siempre Tax Plus, which is a tax preparation branch that mainly focuses on the Hispanic community. So not only do we do tax returns, but we also add just other services to meet the Hispanic population needs. All right, so as the company is growing, we are faced with a bunch of marketing challenges. And so, you can imagine with 3 brands, it can be overwhelming. So one of the main challenges that we face and that we have faced since the beginning are the one-off requests. So when the company was smaller, when I started, we only had about 500 offices. The one-off requests, we were able to, get those out in a timely fashion. But as the company started growing, more franchisees, more offices, then, the time to complete those was just, we weren't able to meet the demand. Our graphics department ended up, we kind of felt like we're an in-house ad agency at times, and once we start doing these one-offs for these specific franchisees and offices, that takes away from the development of ad creation and for the national campaigns. So along with just those one-off requests, there goes a long waiting time for our franchisees. So the typical customized request for any type of layout, whether it be a newspaper ad, a magazine ad, flyer, just any type of marketing material, we usually tell them it's about like 5 business days. Sometimes we get them in on time. Sometimes we're a little late, but we just try to keep it at 5 business days and that's in the off season. So that's about from May to December. during the tax season, which is January to April or mid-April, it can take about 5 to 10 business days for one of our franchisees to get a finalized piece. So our industry is it is seasonal. So for sure, time does equal money in this situation. Another challenge that we face is, controlling our brand and, the brand standards. Sometimes our franchisees, can't wait, and, they might know somebody, at their other job, or their neighbor, or, maybe their mechanic or the doctor, or, just maybe their neighbor's son or daughter is going to college, and they're going to be a graphic designer. So they start making up their own pieces, and we allow that here at Liberty Tax, but everything must be approved through the marketing department. So they'll send in some of their fancy creations, and so we've kind of gotten a nice list of submissions, and just below our 3 samples. Next slide has another 3. So as you can see, this is clearly something that is on the next slide. What do we got here? Not approved. So what we're trying to do is, we're trying to eliminate our franchisees from recreating the wheel, and also getting something that has been designed by the corporate office, and something that's acceptable. Also, like I mentioned earlier, we have 3 brands: Liberty Tax Canada, and Siempre Tax Plus. Each of those brands have their own style guides. They have their own look, colors, color palette, fonts. And we need to have the franchisees to be able to access, just the specific, brand that they're using. So we don't really want them to, if they're a Liberty Tax Canadian franchisee, we don't want them to, go into the U.S. stuff and use any of the U.S. material. So we needed to find a way that we can control that issue as well. And we knew that we have to change. So when I first started, we had everything on our intranet, and that like everything from operations, and then marketing, and all of the marketing pieces. It was all housed on our intranet. We went to a different system, and we used it for about 5 years, but we outgrew it, and that technology became outdated. We needed to be able to control the print layouts, but also provide our franchisees with a sense of, they're customizing pieces for their local, target audience and their demographics. We were also looking, for something that was web-based, something that was fast, so that would be a lot easier on our franchisees, the end users. And we needed something that could house, multiple brands. So at first it was supposed to be 2, and then it ended up being 3. And so when we were looking for the new, a new solution, to overcome those challenges, what we, like I mentioned earlier, the system that we were using before was older technology, and what we wanted to do was we wanted to get the new system up and running within a 3-month period. So right after the tax season ended, April 15th, we went ahead, we were looking for a company that can develop our marketing asset management site in 3 months, so we can go ahead and start promoting tax school. Single sign-on, that's a biggie. Our franchisees do log into intranet, and from there they, link into MarcomCentral with, well, we were looking for something that links into another system through single sign-on. We were also looking for a company that would allow us to create the layouts and the templates in-house. And also, we needed to make sure that there was an approval system in place. So we shopped for several vendors. We kind of reviewed about 5 to 6 different vendors at that time. And as you can see in the slide here, it's a list of things that we were looking for. So pricing, of course, what kind of technology they were using, turnaround time. So we had, that 3-month window. The demos that they provided us, when we were reviewing those, could we see us using that system, in the future? Company attitude, if there's any training involved, how is that facilitated? Would we have to go to a specific location, or would they send a trainer to our corporate office? System control, how much control do we have over the templates and uploading and things like that, or is it do we have to give our layouts to the company and they would do it for us or on our behalf? Customer support, what kind of support do they have, and reporting, of course, so we could see, just how many users are actually using the system, what products are the most useful or the most used, and so that way we can change gears or promote whatever is most popular as far as the assets that are on the site. So in May of 2014, after reviewing all of those vendors, we chose MarcomCentral, and sure enough, in May we started the development for our portal, and we call ours AdLib, so it's our ad builder system for Liberty Tax. So after 3 months, we got our site up. So this is a little snapshot of what our homepage looks like. It's got, when a franchisee logs in, they've got their name up there. It's got mine for this one. And everything is customizable. So we have the banner, and that actually scrolls, and then just like quick links to the major categories on the site. A month later, we got the Canadian site up, a little bit similar to the U.S., just slightly different, but still, just the same things that are on there. Links to the artwork, logos and signage, and at this time we were promoting Tax School. So I thought at that time that we were done, but during 2014, there were talks about creating a new brand, and sure enough, Siempre Tax Plus came about, and it was up in the air how they were going to control the marketing assets for Siempre Tax, and so I got a message saying, hey, we need to create a site for Siempre Tax also. And in November, we were able to get the Siempre Tax brand homepage up, and what they did was they kind of mimicked what they did for Canada, the developers over there at MarcomCentral, and it works just as well. So, like I mentioned earlier, the single sign-on, that was a must for us. Currently, we have single sign-on working for the U.S. and Canada right now. Later on this year, we'll have the Siempre Tax Plus single sign-on implemented, but we are able to allow access to ad-lib system through for our Synchrony Tax Plus franchisees through a manual process. But in the future, that'll be a lot smoother through single sign-on. Each of our offices have, 2 accounts, and one is the franchise owner, and the other one is a marketing manager. Both of those users log into our intranet, and depending on the credentials, they can see things that, the franchise owner can see everything, and then marketing managers, they're limited to what they can see on our intranet. Through single sign-on, all those credentials actually pass through and go into our ad-lib site. So what's available on our ad-lib site? We've got just about everything you can imagine that you can use for marketing. So first off, we have static pieces, and that's just anything that you can't customize. So logos, style guides, documents, posters, maybe a library of images. Those are all housed up, through MarcomCentral, and those do not require any type of approval, so they can just click on that download button that you see there, and it'll just download straight to their computer. Next thing we got are the customizable layouts. So that can be in a form of a flyer, coupon, banner, billboard, business card, any type of stationaries, half-page ads, full-page ads, you name it. We're trying to get as much marketing collateral up that we've seen in the past that our franchisees will utilize. So all of the art is created in-house, and it's been approved by corporate, and it's available for our franchisees to customize. So when our franchisees are customizing some of these pieces, we're able to control what fields are editable. As you can see in this example, if you look towards the middle of the image there, you'll see select addresses. So currently I have 2 selected. Depending on the space available on the layout, we can actually have up to 6. 6 is kind of like our max number. If we go more than that, we usually try to, customize it as a one-off piece. But for the majority of our franchisees, they usually have from 1 to 6 offices right there. Also has different fields for tax preparation, discount amount. We can even control the disclaimers. We can have the dates customizable as well. And so there's really unlimited control of what we can give our franchisees. So earlier I talked about wait times being 5 business days to 10 business days during the tax season. So with our ad-lib system, we've actually decreased the wait time to 24 hours, and the way that we've done that is we have a team of approvers here at the corporate office. If you can go to the next slide, because they look like they've been waiting for the next slide right here. There you go. So 24 hours. We've got a team of approvers, and they see hundreds of ads that come in during the tax season, and time is money, so we're trying to get out those approved marketing materials as fast as we can. With MarcomCentral, they allow us, they give us some training, and sometimes they help us out with some of our what's called our design layouts, and they've also helped us with branding the home pages for all 3 brands. So what's in the future for ad-lib in MarcomCentral? If you can go to the next slide. So I believe that we're underutilizing MarcomCentral right now. Currently, we're using it as a marketing asset management, type of role. But after going through a couple, user conferences, we're starting to, change course and we want to utilize more functionalities that MarcomCentral has to offer. So we want to actually take a lot more stuff out of our intranet and upload it and implement it and integrate into the AdLib system. So we want to turn AdLib in, not just into a customizable ad builder, but we want to make it a marketing resource center for print, web content, and social media. We're also looking forward to trying to integrate Salesforce, so we can have we can implement our brand standards with our sales team, and just try to get everything looking like it's everything belongs together. So in conclusion, like with Liberty Tax and MarcomCentral, our CEO likes to say that the success of the company is based on happy, successful franchisees, and I believe that MarcomCentral is a tool that we use, to get us to having those happy, successful franchisees.
Excellent. Well, thank you, Oliver. That was a really nice job, and what a wonderful story. So thanks for sharing with us. We're getting some questions in, so please, if you have any questions, type them in. There's a question window or a chat window. We're monitoring both. There were a couple of questions that came in that I thought were interesting. We'll share, and we won't make this much longer, so you guys will get your afternoons back. But it's let's see. One of the questions around customization is: do a lot of your franchisees customize their marketing materials, or do they primarily use it to access and download static pieces? So is it
It's a combination of both. Of course, if they need the logos and everything, they go ahead and just download those. I would say about 70% customize, the marketing materials that they need.
Oh, okay, 70%. Wow. And I'm seeing one here that's saying, can you provide some more info on how the system can be used for web content and social media? So I can take the social media side. I wasn't sure if you had a thought on that, but we have some new stuff that we just announced actually around that.
Sure, go ahead.
So we actually have for social media, we're just integrating now with a company called Lamentis, which will enable you to kind of have that parent-child relationship where corporate will be able to send out what they want to put out to social and which channels, and then it can be customized within your controls, either not customized at all and sent directly out to their LinkedIn or the sales reps or marketing folks, or it can be customized but also within your control. So there's some real nice social pieces coming down the road, and we're just in beta now with that, so we're expecting that out in the next 30 days or so. Okay, let's see. When a franchise downloads static images like logos, how do you ensure they're using the correct version or color? And how can you be sure they're not skewing the artwork?
Okay, so we do, along with the logos, we also have a brand guide that's downloadable. So we encourage our franchisees to download that. We also send out marketing emails throughout the tax season, just reminding them that we do have compliance regulations in place, and that they need to, if they do have a third party create any type of ad, that it needs to be submitted to the corporate office for final approval.
Oh, great. Okay, excellent. One of the questions came in is, how did you get your staff to utilize the software? Our staff regularly accesses multiple platforms, so adding one more may cause an overload. It's a great question. Or people will not use and keep creating their own. So now you're right. So you go through all the trouble, you build the whole process. How do you get people to actually utilize it? Did you guys have a plan around that?
I think with anything that anything new that pops up, change is probably the hardest thing to overcome. We've had a lot of franchisees that we're really stuck on the old system, but within the last 3 years, we've seen an increase of users, to the AdLib system, and what we've done is we've actually given many, webinars, online tutorials. We've gotten the word out through our corporate emails, and each year we hold a national convention. And we do have a booth that's dedicated to AdLib. So if our franchisees have any questions, they can just go ahead and stop by the booth. This year at our convention, we are going to have some breakout sessions, just strictly for AdLib. So what we'll do there is, we'll just give them some extra training and just a little bit of insight of where we're headed with AdLib.
Oh, that's great. No, it's interesting. We had last month we had Rod from Orlando Health, and one of the things they did was they actually did a road show, and they would go out, to different regions and different locations, and actually present it and talk with the management and talk with the teams, and it really worked extremely well for getting buy-in. And I think once they go in there, and it becomes the main source for where where they need to go to get the things that are required. It seems to take off. So that's good. And that was a really good insight you had there.
Right.
Okay. And then I have a question here on approvals. What type of approvals are required centrally after the field has customized the piece? If the creative is pre-approved and the customization is limited to only those fields that are open to them, why is further approval required?
I can answer that. So, as you can see, the tax industry is heavily regulated. So we do have an extra field for addresses called locator. So we allow our franchisees to enter in, next to Wendy's or inside, so-and-so mall. But when we do that, we we just want to make sure that our franchisees aren't putting anything sneaky in there. So, they could probably say, stop by on Saturday and, get an extra $20 off your tax return. And, if there's no supporting disclaimer for that, we can get dinged for that. So that's why all of the pieces that have any type of customization, that's why we have to, view every single one of them. It may not be the same for other companies, but for us here at Liberty Tax, it's a must.
Yeah, for sure, understood. And the interesting thing about the system is it actually enables you where you can lock it down to the point that we have certain clients that will not allow them to put an open text field in, or they won't allow them to upload their own images because they want to make sure that it's only the content that they're supplying that they can choose, and they know all that's in compliance, so they don't have to go through the approval process. So you have the choice. It's the option of what your franchisees or what your locations or the folks that need access to the system need or want. And then you can control inside the system, how much authority you can give them to customize those pieces.
Right. We just to add on that, we do have some pieces that just have the franchisee's phone number or name and email address. So you can lock down those fields to specific characters as well, and so that doesn't have to go through an approval process. So we do have just a handful of those types of layouts and templates available for our franchisees as well.
Oh, excellent. And then this is kind of a related one to the buy-in part, but this is more about process. Do you have any challenges rolling out the new process regarding marketing approval, to franchisees. So, was that an issue for you, or do you guys have like a good control over that as far as working with your franchisees?
It's more of education or educating our franchisees and the end users. So there's not going to be any buy-in or they're not even going to attempt to use it if they don't know if it exists and what it's capable of doing. So that's why we, try to be a little bit proactive here, and we try to give them, tools to understand. Hey, we have this, great marketing system for you. We'd like you to use it and take full advantage of it. So, I think education is the key. And we've learned that, from our previous systems. So, it just year by year, it's getting better and better.
Okay, that's great. And we're getting a bunch of questions here. So if we run out of time and we don't get to your question, we certainly will follow up with you afterwards. So, but we are trying to get through all of them if we can. So, another one. I guess this is another one about not complying with brand standards. How do you hold franchisees accountable for not complying with brand corporate guidelines? Is there any backlash for them?
Yeah, usually, we'll have to escalate it to either operations. We'll have a cease and desist. Just different types of, measures right there. We'd hate to go, to court on any of this kind of stuff if we don't have to. So, but we do have, I guess, like a system of controlling those issues there.
Okay, well, good. And then training was another one I saw came up in a couple of questions. Is what kind of training did the users need? So it sounded like this was not really the setup or administration of the site, but the actual folks that were, the franchisees themselves that had to jump in and use the system. What needed to be done to educate them?
So we've done two things. We do have kind of like a little how-to, like a little start guide, to get them familiar with the with AdLib. Also on the actual site itself, we have a Q&A or FAQ type of section on the site. So there's a lot of the frequently asked questions and how do you do this, and those are answered right there. And also we have if they still can't find their answer, they can always email one of the administrators for the site. And there's 4 of the designers here that work on the MarcomCentral AdLib site. So all of us are tied into that email group, and we try to answer them as soon as we can. So just the handouts, having information readily available on the actual site itself, and just webinars and tutorials that go through our internet site that are easily accessible for our franchisees is how we educate.
Okay, great. And then we'll close it with one last one here. It looks like there was a few questions on printing costs and managing the print. It looks like there's definitely some print-related items. It looks like you're expanding to a number of different areas. It could be images, social, web. But it looks like there's a bunch of questions on print costs associated for each location, and how you manage, just kind of print there. Is it kind of they can do on their own, or do you have vendors, or how does that work, Oliver?
Yeah, currently, we do have some approved vendors for for Liberty Tax, but we have this asset management tool, so they can build their own ads and they can take it to their local printer. Currently, we don't have anything set up where it goes direct to print. That is something that we are looking into, but currently what our franchisees will do is they will go ahead and customize the piece, download whatever file type they need, whether it be a JPEG, EPS, PDF, any types of those formats, and take it to their local printer. Because like I said earlier, time is money, and so if they can get it done quicker and cheaper, from a local printer, then all they need is just the approved artwork, and this is a tool that can provide that for them.
Oh, excellent. Well, and the other piece I'll just mention on that is that, for Marcom, you can certainly tie to different print vendors. You can have budgets associated. You can have it all go into one central place, or you can allow them to just download, print on their own if they want to do that, or digital assets, email, any of those things. So, well, very good, Oliver. Thank you again. What a wonderful story and a great job today. So we really appreciate you doing that. For everyone in attendance, we really appreciate you guys as well. Any of the questions we didn't get to, we'll be following up. The recording will be made available for this. And please, come to Marcom.com. If you have not subscribed, please do so. We'll have some follow-up webinars. Again, our plan is one a month. And if anyone's in the New York area, we have a roadshow, which we'll be having a number of folks, including John Miller from Engagio, who's one of the founders of Marketo, speaking at, and it's an educational roadshow. And it's the first one is May 3rd in Manhattan, and you can visit our website for information on that as well. Well, thank you all very much, and I hope you have a great afternoon, and thanks again.